Previously on Cell Block Castle TV.
A law library is a spot that contains legal information. So this is where you step in. Now, what can I do to help you help me?
To anyone who is unfamiliar with the legal system, you would think that jail and prison are the same based off its ability of confinement. But you've sadly mistaken, and I'm explaining to you how and why they're different. You would think they live by the same rules, the same level of consequences. You're wrong. They both are completely different. Not just by the way of respect and the way how you live and move, but the rules and regulations from an inmate to a CO. This episode, I'll be explaining the difference between county jail and state prison. If you're a first-time offender, there's a strong possibility that you're unaware of the differences between county jail and state prison. Two very dangerous places you should never intentionally spend any of your time of life at. However, we all know that shit happens. And as a result of shit happening, you found yourself doing some time. Maybe you're just curious. You've never seen a lick of trouble. You've never even gotten a speeding ticket. Maybe you got a family member who currently going through a situation and they locked up and it ain't looking too good. You know what I'm saying? They may be going down the road and you want to know the difference between where they're at now and where they could be in the future so you can help them in their situation. It could be a spouse. It could be you and the DA and lawyer ain't talking too good. Let's not forget about the ones who's on bond. It's always better to be prepared than unprepared. It's always better to have some type of light shed than to go in a situation completely blinded. And you got a ton of questions. You don't really know too much about the system. You don't really know too much how it goes. Now there's some things that you got to understand. There's some things that you keep hearing around the block. There's some things that you must know based off your current situation. You already locked up, but now there's a chance that you may be going down the road. You don't even know what down the road means, which is also known as prison. Now you got to get a better understanding of how they operate up there. A totally different ball game. Why is this one bigger? Why is this one classified as more dangerous? Now let me start by saying this. You got county jail, which is a bit more laxed, and then you have state prison. Not to say that county jail can't get rowdy, but it will get rowdy in state prison, and you best be prepared. Now let me give you the book section of how they're different. You know, textbook answers. This is read by them. This is read by them. You know all that bullshit. I'm gonna give you that version first, and then we're gonna head over and I'm gonna give you that real shit of how they differ. Now, if the authorities have picked you up, one of the first points of contact for your incarceration destiny may be a police station. A police station will most likely take some information from me. I want to say they fingerprinted me, it's been so long, and put me in a holding tank. After I was done being processed in their system, at their location, I was then taken to the county jail. So I wanted to bring that to y'all attention too. Now the county jail, as far as the space, you do have county jails that are extremely big. County jail is where you're being held if you're awaiting a trial date, okay? If you're taking your case to trial, you feel as if they don't have a solid case on you, you ready to fight? Maybe you do feel like they got a solid case on you. Either way, you're taking it to trial. You're going to sit in county until the court provides you with a trial date on the calendar. And if you're found guilty, you'll be heading down the road. You'll be heading to prison. Prison, you've either taken a plea deal and you still have some time you got to pull, you're a convicted felon, or you just pled guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm guilty. Fuck all this shit. I'm guilty. Now, there's more sites on prison, it having many more rehabilitation programs. It also may have boot camps on that prison site, maybe a job site. There are so many things that are offered in prison that are not offered in a county jail. Another thing I want to let y'all in on is state and federal inmates can come to the county and pull some time. I've seen it myself. You see a state or federal inmate walk into the cell block, keep in mind, that's normal business as well. Prison is also where they house inmates who have long stints of time to execute. It's also a housement of convicted felons. If you caught up again and you're already a convicted felon, 9 times out of 10, you're going to prison, dog. You're going back to prison. You're being shipped off to your classified prison. Prison is a housement of convicted crimes. Crimes that will definitely get you shipped off to prison. For example, murder, maybe aggravated assault, armed robbery. Along those level of charges, 9 times out of 10, you're going to prison. If you've been sentenced to 10 months, you're going to do your time in the county, okay? County jail is a revolving door, which means you're going to see people coming in and going out. You're going to see people coming in and going out. Almost like clockwork. You're going to see the same people. You're going to hear the same thing that they talking about. You're going to hear the same conversations. You're going to see the same traits, the same shit. And the root of that problem is because you got your misdemeanor offenders. You know, they may be drunk. The authorities pick them up, take them to county jail so they can sober up. You know, they'll go to court, maybe get some probation, a fine. They'll be back out. You know, they're not a violent offender. They're just intoxicated again this week. You'll also see a lot of probation violations as well in the county jail. Violators who's been sentenced to probation and just can't get their shit together, man. Prison, if we remember what I said earlier, you got longer sentences that must be executed. So as a result, of course you're going to see the same people because they pull in longer sentences of time. They're not going anywhere. You know, they can't get bonded out. They've already been sentenced, now convicted. That's just what it is. This is where they live. This is their home. You will see the same people in prison unless you got a newcomer coming in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing about prison that is completely different from county is the rehabilitation programs. It's only human to have programs to help them get through their time as best as possible, all in combined while handling their punishment of incarceration. Prison will have rehabilitation programs. I haven't came across the county jail that offered me rehabilitation programs aside from church. In prison, you got more dangerous people around you. You got people who serving life, people who has nothing to lose. So of course, the danger level is at a maximum. It's at a maximum in prison. Prison, it's either you or them. Now that you have a better understanding of both county jail versus state prison and their differences, you now have a better understanding of a situation that you may face, or maybe a loved one, a close one. Either or you found yourself in front of, you'll go into both more aware and more prepared, more wiser. You'll be ready and you'll know what to do versus what not to do. Now it's time for me to finish this chapter. So if you'll excuse yourself, I'd like to be alone. Thank you for tuning in to Cell Block Castle TV. Until the next episode.